like you've seen it a million times.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. You are watching me about to crash into a bus. Or not about to crash. Hope everyone's doing well. So today's trip, well, we're taking a Kenworth K100 out on a drive, and this is a test of an engine that at the time of making the video I believe is ready, and it's going to be entering the Steele Productions Engine Pack I would say imminently. In fact, chances are by the time you're watching this it's already there. But this is the last test. I want to try well, not driving like a hooligan, but yeah, just the lower powered model. And I want to see how well it does with some single axle travel. And we have an unusual spec truck, and I'll explain why in a bit, but let's see what cargo we've got at Wilbert. Oops. Who put the sign there? Bloody hell. God blimey, girl, that's going to sting in the morning, love. Anyway, yeah, did I do much? Oh, no, it's fine. This is engine wear, that's okay. Knee bother. Alright, here's the Wilbert. Now, I don't know what kind of trip we're going to find here, but I want something that's maybe not particularly heavy, maybe 20,000 pounds cargo, give or take, and ideally a couple hundred miles at most. Because I don't need to test that much about the truck. I just want to see what it's like with this particular transmission. And single axle won't make too big a difference to how well it performs, but it'll give us an idea. And oh, look at that. Well, it's a little short, but hey, I like short things. It's a little heavier than I wanted, but yeah, let's go ahead and take this. Right, so it's Waco to Austin. Are we in Waco? I thought we were in Dallas. Okay. And where is it? Oh, there it is. Just over here to the right. Okay, so I have a bad habit of just not getting these trailers lined up with the Kenworth K100E, and I've done quite a bit of testing, and believe me, I just got it wrong so many times. It's embarrassing. Just drop my ride height, like so. I've mapped those to numbers on my numeric keypad. See if I can get it lined up. I'm not sure that that's right. Oh yeah, I think it might be. Well, I think this truck's wider than I give it credit for. That's possibly why. I guess I got it. Okay. Yes, I did. Okay, let's go ahead and just take a quick look. So, what have we got here? We have a K100. This unit has been repowered. It's got a 2012 Paccar MX-13 under the hood. Now, this engine is a special request. Zach, my good friend Zach, asked me, "Hey, could I, put one of these in the?" I think he actually asked me this a long time ago. And I filed it in the headspace of, sure, but I gotta find some information on it or something along those lines. And unfortunately, this time of year is very busy at work, and I just tend to forget things. Well, roll forward a given number of months, and Zach found exactly what I was looking for. It's the specification document for a 2012 MX-13. I'm like, oh, well, this works for me. Because, oops, is that is that? Oh, it's part of a tree. I was going to say, is that what kind of animal is that? But it looked like it had legs. It's a tree. Anyway, right, where were we? Before I got distracted by a caterpillar. Yeah, so he found the spec sheet, sent it to me, and I'm like, oh, this looks good for me. And off we go. So the range consists of basically 400 to 500 horsepower versions. Now it does start at 380, and this is the rating that we're using today. We're using an MX-13 380 with 1450 foot-pounds of torque. And it's been an interesting engine to kind of work with, because I've played around with sort of fleet spec trucks in the past. So your sort of ISX, EGR models or double overhead cam version with 400, 425 horsepower. And this is kind of the same. I really can't see around this corner. I mean, I could lean forward, but it's not going to help me that much. I guess we'll just pull out and just check carefully, maybe. Do we see anything? No. Okay. All right. Good. So yeah, it's like a fleet spec. Now it sounds as though this particular engine was used maybe for vocational duties, or this variant, the 380 for vocational duties. It depending where I look, it looks like it was a special order part. And you might be thinking, why would you special order a lower powered engine? Because the 2017 range starts at 405 horsepower. Yep, I can beat that dodgy white van. Let's get in front of this truck on the left. Let's use my power. Oof, he got awful close there. Oh yeah, he's freaked out. He stopped. So yeah, so why would you use an engine that's got less power than the 405 horsepower 1450? And there could be a few reasons for doing this. Maybe you want to annoy your drivers. Maybe you your travel routes are typically flat roads. Is he going to let me out? This white car. I guess he is. And in which case you don't need that much more power. Maybe it's for city hauls. City hauls as in H-A-U-L-S, not H-A-L-L-S, because I mean, if you're going to move a city haul, you need quite a bit more power than this, because all those fat cats that I'm sure reside there. So, the way I figure with this machine is it was used for short haul trips. And so, the single rear axle, it does have a sleeper, but I mean, maybe you need to take a break, and you don't have to pay for hotels if it's for fleet. It has a 10-speed. It actually has a 10-speed automated transmission as opposed to a manual. So it's an Eaton Ultrashift. It's a 10-speed direct drive, and it has a 264 final drive. So what that means is, I would say it's geared appropriately, given it's an MX-13 and has a lot of low-down power. So here we're doing 65 and we're doing, what, 1450 RPM. And this is probably the efficient cruising speed. Now, at the beginning of the video, I was hoofing along at 75. It's perfectly capable of hoofing along at 75. It's just you're not going to get great mileage. So it's a compromise. Speaking of which, the compromise is time, and I have nearly 5.5 hours to get to my destination and 2 hours of drive, so I don't need to hoof it. I can probably adopt a nice, gentle 55 miles an hour if I really felt like it, but I don't. I want to get there today. So the older MX-13 has a slightly different torque curve to the newer MX-13. So its peak torque, steering is all over the place. Its peak torque is at 1000 RPM, and the steering is very sensitive. The later models have a 900 RPM peak torque. I say peak torque, it's the start of its peak torque. So this one is 1000 RPM, and depending on the flavor of engine, it can be 1000 to 1200 RPM, or it can go up to 1500 RPM. I think one of them is slightly more than 15, it might be 1550. 1000 RPM at peak torque is wonderful, because it means that you can happily cruise along at kind of low engine speeds and get great mileage. If you only have 1450 foot-pounds of torque, you can't move a mountain at 1000 RPM. You do still need power to keep the thing going as well, and you get power through revs. Very, very simplistic approach to explaining what I mean. But it's a nice, tractable engine. And Zach commented, he thought, I reckon it's going to pull better than the later ones. Well, the answer is yes, it kind of doesn't. I know, Zach. I'm not a politician, I promise. Because at the same engine speed as, let's say, 1000 RPM in this engine versus 1000 RPM in the later 405 horsepower, they're both going to produce the same amount of power, because power is based on a formula. Oh, I'm speeding. Is based on a formula of torque multiplied by your engine speed. It's a product of. As the revs rise, there comes a point when the power reaches 380 horsepower on this particular model, and so your torque drop-off is that much quicker. Converse effect of that is it feels like you've got a steeper torque rise, as if you're cruising along at this speed. Okay, this is a bad example. If you're cruising along at 65 and you're doing 1450 revs and you climb a hill, your torque rise is fairly substantial, and your power is going to be reasonably constant the way that this engine's configured. Ultimately, what I'm saying is it's a very tractable, usable engine, despite only being a 380 horsepower rated model. Ultimately, in terms of speed, the 405 would be quicker, the 430 quicker still, the 455 would be that little bit quicker, and the top model is 500 horsepower. It compares with 510 horsepower for the equivalent top model in the later engines. And again, the 2012 mirrors the 2017 MX-11 in that the 500 model, 510 model, produces its peak torque from 1100 RPM and not 1000 or 900 RPM. So it's that little bit higher in the rev range compared to the rest of the engine range. I must have adjusted my steering sensitivity because, wow, this thing is everywhere. Kill my speed right now, I think. I don't know what the recommended speed is for this this off-ramp, but it might be something like 45. So there you go, there's 45 miles an hour and we're doing 1000 RPM, but as we're climbing a hill, so that this engine speed dropped, and I'm feathering the throttle at this point. Let's get off the power, there we go. Yeah, the steering is very sensitive right now, and I felt like I'm being a bit ham-fisted. Let's get it back up to 55, like so. I mean, we're going down a hill, but it's pulling. Okay. Why am I drifting all over the road? No, I can stay in this lane. That's perfectly fine. Okay. So, in use, depending on the truck, the gearing, the cargo, and the road, the older MX-13 can feel very much like the newer MX-13, and that is not a bad thing. I would say it's not an exciting engine, but I'd also say it doesn't really need to be. It's a 13-litre engine with a broad enough range such that you could do heavy hauling with the 1850 foot-pound of torque version, the 510. You might prefer a Cummins X15 performance or productivity, but you can get the job done with the highest powered MX-13. You can use all that low down torque to cruise at a fairly low engine speed and get very respectable fuel consumption. The engine brake is a little bit handicapped by it being a 13-litre class engine as opposed to a 15, but the engine brake's okay as well, and it's no great shakes, but it does its job. What's not to like? And therein is, I think, the fleet appeal of the MX-13, and why I imagine the previous owner of this truck decided it was a good idea to install one, and not a Caterpillar C15 King of the Hill. That was very interesting the way I took that corner. Probably shouldn't drive like this at home. So yeah, I've been working on this. I'm working on the shift pattern. I've not really talked about the whole shift pattern thing going on here because I haven't had to make any observations. We've just kept it in drive. It's done exactly what I wanted it to do, which was haul the truck, haul the cargo. I guess everyone is not going down here, so keep messing around with my view. I'm sorry. Switch to this view here. Now with the right gearbox or the wrong gearbox, if you accelerate firmly in the lower gears, and I mean if you have an 18 speed, this thing is changing gears so often because you can keep it in such a low engine speed that you basically change up at 1200 revs and then put it right back at 1000 revs and off you go again. Very busy right hand as you drive. So that is a difficult, tight thing to maneuver. So this will be an interesting challenge of my skill rather than the engine. But it'd be nice to just double check it actually can do the whole backing up at slow speed just fine with this particular transmission. Besides, I mean, what's possibly going to go wrong with me backing this thing up, right? Guess we'll do that. That noise normally annoys me, but I'm not going to be in the cabin much here. Oh, I can start it off by going the wrong way. That's a good place to start. There, hold on. Nice little result there. Okay, let's try this view. That does make life a little easier. Wait, no. Okay, I got to straighten the truck up behind the trailer. That's it. Maybe. Oof, that's a little close, but angle a little bit more. There we go. Oh no, see, I'm in danger of utterly messing it up now, which probably won't surprise the regulars, all two of you. Hey, if you're one of those two, thanks so much for watching these. It's been a hoot. Okay, let's try that again. So I can get the truck moving and then lift off the power completely, and this is fantastic for maneuvering. Maybe a little quick, but I'm off the power completely. I don't have to worry about messing around with the throttle. A little bit of service brake there to control the speed, and it's probably a little fast maybe. And yeah, I did it in how many attempts? Is that the second attempt, I think? Okay. What do we think we did mileage-wise? I don't think we did great because it's kind of a short trip. I'm going to go with somewhere between 6.5 miles per gallon. I think that might be reasonable. So 132 miles, and we used 17.1 gallons of fuel. That's a lot better than I thought. Is I supposed to start at 7? No, it's closer to 8. Okay, let's. If you have an iPad and you've got iOS 18, congratulations! You now have a calculator on your beta software. Well done, Apple. Everyone take a nice slow cap. But let me get my calculator out, and yep, that is 7.7 miles per gallon. That's a good little result. And that's the other reason why you might choose a low-powered truck engine, because potentially better mileage. Whole bunch of caveats go with that statement, so yes, have a go in the comments. No two trips are the same, but the premise is you might get better economy with a lesser powered engine. You might also get better economy with a bigger engine, but there we go. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.